and the whole ocean was just bouncing all around. It was the perfect storm. There were white pointer sharks.
She's got chop in the water. She's got white caps in her face.
It's a very small group of people that can endure this type of punishment.
I was sort of freaked out, and I'm thinking I might not make it.
Lynne Cox is one of the most incredible athletes that probably most people don't know about that's ever lived.
I've done 12 different swims around the world that had never been done before. Swam from England to France and broke the men's and women's world record twice. The idea of swimming Cook Strait came to me because I'd met a swimmer named Sandy Blewett from New Zealand. She said, "Why don't you think about swimming across Cook Strait? There have been 3 men that have done it, and there have been a whole bunch of women that have attempted it, but nobody's ever succeeded." I started off, and I remember thinking, this swim is going to probably take me 4 or 5 hours at the most because it's only 10 miles, and this should be a really fun swim.
The Cook Strait Channel is not the longest open water swim by any means, but in terms of degree of difficulty, it's one of the most difficult swims in the world.
It's prone to all kinds of wild currents, and some of the most volatile weather on Earth can be there.
2 storms were converging in the middle of Cook Strait. It was just like ferocious winds, and it started generating big waves. They were like 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet. It made it hard to breathe. 5 hours into the swim, I looked up and thought, wow, the South Island looks further than when we first started. I finally asked the people on the boat, how far have we gone? You've been going backwards for the last 5 hours.
Fatigue has got to take over at some point. She's got that tidal current in her face. She's already exhausted. Now she's basically just swimming in place. She's given it all she's got and making no forward progress at all.
I was so tired, and I really thought nature is too big for me, and I don't think I can go any further. Then I saw 2 things that were 6 or 7 or 8 feet suddenly move underneath me. I was thinking white pointer shark. You know, I'm like swimming on the top of the water. Suddenly, there are between 40 and 60 dolphins that come over and start swimming with us. And you can see the dolphins looking at me in the eye, as if to say, "Are you okay?" It was like the most magical thing. So I'm swimming along and they are keeping me going.
It takes a special kind of swimmer to do open water swimming. Lynne is not the fastest swimmer that ever swum, but what she has is an uncanny ability to tolerate cold.
She's in water temperatures that are in the 50s, and she was in there for hour after hour and didn't have complete hypothermia. It's a miracle.
The crew started telling me that the tide is starting to pick up and that if I don't start sprinting now, I might miss the South Island. The dolphins moved closer, so close that they're within that distance from my hands. They knew that this was shark feeding time, and they had moved into this protective area around me. It was almost 12 hours into the swim. I could see shore, and we had a group of fishermen from the South Island to help guide us into shore, and they tried to point us to the right, but the dolphins were going off to the left. And so I thought, go with what the dolphins are telling you. And finally, after 12 hours and 2.5 minutes, I touched the rocks.
Most people can't survive 12 minutes in those type of waters. She's out there for 12 hours.
This has to rank among one of the great accomplishments in swimming.
It was a huge success, but oh my gosh, I had no idea what we would encounter throughout that swim. And it would be one of the toughest swims of my entire lifetime.